Better life. We're standing outside today of Manio's Town Hall, the home of the Manio Police Department. And the reason I'm doing that is something came to my mind as I was driving home the other day. I saw on a church sign that said, out in Kill Devil Hills, it said, vampires and zombies, no problem, fear the Lord, with an exclamation I think it had. You know, when I began to think about that, when I thought about the comparison of the fear that people have for the scary stuff, the vampire zombie stuff, and during Halloween now, and combining that with the fear of the Lord, I began to think, I wonder if they're sending the wrong message. And I began to think about that, and I think they are. I think we're sending the wrong message there when we talk about the fear of the Lord. The reason right here in front of Manio Police Department is, you know, is to kind of illustrate that. You know, I remember once I heard somebody say that the greatest incentive to safe driving is a police car in the rear view mirror. Now think about that. When you look up in that rear view mirror and there's a police officer right behind you, I don't care how good a driver you are, I don't care if you're going speed limit or not, your foot comes off the accelerator a little bit, your back straightens out a little bit, the seatbelt gets a little tighter, the cell phone gets flipped over, the donut or coffee goes in the coffee holder or whatever it is, and the hands go to 10 and 2. Why? Because of a respect for the individual. You see, it's not necessarily you fear the officer, but you fear what can happen if you don't obey. Some time back, I watched a show with on Andy Griffith's show, one of the episodes called Citizen's Arrest, and I love that show. Probably one of my favorite of the Andy Griffith Show series. And in Citizen's Arrest, Barney comes across Gomer, who is parked alongside the road, and he does an illegal U-turn. And right away, Barney runs up and wants to give him a ticket. Of course, Gomer thinks, well, you're my friend. Why would you give me a ticket? You shouldn't give me a ticket. And the next 4 or 5 minutes is pretty much some of the funniest television that you could ever find. And but the idea is that he has to give his friend a ticket because he represents the law. The law has to be blind, and because of that, if he breaks the law, he has to give him a ticket. So you watch these police officers in your rearview mirror, even if you're obeying the law, you still know that there's something that comes over you. Proverbs chapter 9 verse 10, the Bible says there that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Another translation says the entrance into wisdom. It goes on to say in other verses that it's the fear of the Lord is a fountain of life. It's the foundation of all wisdom that we have. And so what really is wisdom? Wisdom here is the knowledge that everything that I say and do and think is being watched and recorded, and that I am going to be rewarded or disciplined accordingly for everything. That's really what the fear of the Lord is. It's really that simple. It's not that scary, dread and awe. That's why we see people that get all mixed up. Because they get this idea that God is a hateful God, a God that wants to bring judgment all the time, wants to pound you on the head. And that's not really what he's looking for today. What he's wanting to communicate is that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, is the beginning of understanding that everything I say and do, God's watching. Basically, I don't get away with anything. And that I'm going to be disciplined for everything, and that I'm going to be rewarded for everything, one way or the other, either in this life or the life to come. That's what the fear of the Lord really is all about. So when I see an officer, it reminds me, friend or foe, he's going to ticket me if I'm breaking the law. When I look into the Word, I realize that friend or foe, whether I'm on God's side or not, he's going to discipline me whether I break the law or not. That's what the fear of the Lord really is. It's not a dread or a scariness, but it has to do with the fact that God's going to discipline me. God's going to punish me. I hate to say punish because punishment's what you do to somebody. Discipline's what you do for them. We like to punish children. Punishment really doesn't do much. Discipline is what does it. But also, too, he's going to reward me accordingly. I was watching on the internet the other day, and it's kind of saddened my heart when I look at people like Bill Nye, the science guy, and Penn Jillette, very intelligent men who are coming out now on the internet and on YouTube against the Bible. Of course, Penn Jillette's whole license plate says atheist. And Bill Nye, the science guy, is so intelligent, yet he said yesterday, I heard on the internet when he said yesterday that this worldview that denies evolution will pass away in a few generations. He's predicting the demise of the Bible. And so here's an intelligent man who's talking like a fool. He's now joined the line of many people who have prophesied the end of the Bible And yet, when all these people died, it was the Bible that was opened at their graveside. Every one of them have died, and the Bible is still here. And at their grave, almost every one of them, I'm sure somebody either quoted or read from the Bible that they said would pass away, some of them even in their own lifetime. So today on Halloween, I don't mind, I have a little bit of fun, but you keep in mind there's a difference in the fear and the scary tactics of the enemy and the fear of the Lord, which is the beginning of wisdom. Seeing my life from God's point of view, realizing that God's got every good thing I do, God's going to reward me, but every bad thing I do, I'm not going to get away with, okay? That's the road to a better life. A road to a better life is a road of wisdom. So God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a safe Halloween.